Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, August 30th edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, on Mondays and Tuesdays here at 4 p.m. Eastern on MMAOddsbreaker.com. Adam Martin. I'm joined by my co-host on Monday and Tuesdays, Mr. Big Marcel. What's up, man?
Hi, what's up, man? How is it going?
Same old, you know what I mean? Just the grinding away, Marcel. A lot of fights this weekend, too, which was nice to see. We've got a lot to talk about, Marcel. It's going to be a busy podcast today, which I'm looking forward to. And of course, should mention tomorrow, it's actually August 31st. So we have one more podcast this month. This isn't the last podcast of the month. We're going to preview UFC Vegas 36, Till Brunson. That's tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. So I know you guys are probably wondering who we're picking in that fight, but we'll talk about that tomorrow. Today's going to be like a recap show, Marcel. We'll be recapping a lot that happened this weekend. Now, I know you don't necessarily want to talk about Tyron Woodley, but we have to, man, because it is a big fight. It did feature a former UFC fighter. I'll wait a little bit to talk about that. I think let's start with UFC first, and then we'll do some PFL after that, and we'll do boxing, okay? How's that sound? Good?
It's up to you, my man.
All right, let's do it. Let's start with Giga Chikadze and Edson Barboza. So first off, I mean, we were both wrong about this, and I think we both owe our boy Georgie an apology because he was 100% right. We were 100% wrong about this fight. The fight did not play out how I thought at all. I thought it'd be way more competitive than that. Pretty much a washout for Giga. He looked amazing in this fight. And I Marcel, at this point, I'm wondering, like, is this guy, he must be one of the best featherweights in the world at this point. 7 straight wins now, destroys Edson Barboza. I'm beyond impressed by this guy. I needed to see him beat someone like Barboza before I really started to think, hey, this guy could be maybe a champion. Now that he's dispatched of Edson in such a brutal fashion, I mean, this guy could beat a lot of people, man. So what do you think? What do you think of his performance, Marcel?
It was obviously a good performance, man. I mean, if you can do this against Edson Barboza, you're really good. I think I had a 1-1 going into the third. That's all judges have.
That's what I had too. I gave the first round to Giga, second round to Edson. That's what I had. But all the judges had 2018, which I didn't agree with. But
yeah, same. But still, Giga came back very well in the third one, and I mean, very good win by Giga, and also how he did it was very impressive. Yeah. Deservedly got the performance of the night bonus. Mm-hmm. We know how Edson fights. Edson always fights. How do you say that? Aggressive. It's very solid kicks, but you saw how Giga kick was very good as well. And very good performance by Giga, and I'm looking forward what's next for him.
Me too. You know what's funny? I remember when he fought Austin Springer Contender Series and he got choked out in the third round. Everyone was saying he sucked. They're like, this guy sucks. There's no ground game. He'll never be good. This guy's improved so much in the 3 years since that fight, Marcel. It's unbelievable how much he's improved. Because we're talking about the knockout, and it was a brutal. He knocked him down twice. I think the referee really saved Edson from getting brutally knocked out cold. That's what I think happened. It was a good stoppage. But not only that, Marcel, he also attempted the Darce choke in the fight. Like, he showed off some ground game too, and that's what Georgie was saying. He's like, this guy is really working his ground game. And obviously Giga, everyone says that in interviews. Oh yeah, I'm working at every aspect of the game. I haven't seen it in a fight yet. Now we finally saw it. I mean, the guy is obviously very well rounded. But what I liked about his performance, Marcel, he was so aggressive in this fight. He was the one walking forward, and that's what has cost him. Not cost him, but some of his fights earlier, like against Davis and Emmers, very fights where he wasn't really pushing the pace. But the last few fights, he really has been pushing the pace, Marcel. 3 straight knockouts, three straight performances of the night. So what's next for him? He called up Max Holloway. I don't think he gets that fight because Max is fighting Yair, but I don't know. How about Zabit? I mean, Zabit's been out for a while. I think that'd be a great fight. What do you think?
Zabit ain't ranked, man, and I think he wants somebody in the rankings higher. So that's a very low reward fight if you beat Zabit at this moment.
You think so? I mean, we all know Zabit's clearly one of the top 5 guys.
I agree, but for him at this moment, he wants somebody, I think, in the top 5, and Zabit isn't in the top 5.
Okay, how about Korean Zombie then? That'd be the guy.
For me, it's either Korean Zombie or this Arnold Allen, one of those two.
Mm-hmm. I'd rather see
what's up with Calvin Kattar? What's up with Calvin Kattar?
Yeah, he's taking some time off. I mean, he got beat up pretty bad against Max.
Yeah, I know.
And he wants to take some time off. The last I heard, James interviewed Rob Font like a few months ago. He was saying how he was really taking it slow. But I think he wants to return before the end of the year. That'd be a good fight. Honestly, though, I can't see it going well for Calvin, man. After seeing how much damage he took, I'm pretty sure Giga would destroy him in that fight. Look at these comments. Matt, what's up, man? He says 145 doesn't have a lot of top-tier roasters. I agree with this. Giga title fight, one more win. Possibly. I mean, he's got 7 in a row. And he's knocking guys out. So the UFC loves that. And you're right. The only guy that, like, if you're looking at the division right now, Marcel, like, I mean, Ortega's a grappler. We'll give him that, but he's not really a wrestler. Like the top wrestler, I mean, Josh Emmett, I guess, is a wrestler, but he mostly wants to strike. There really isn't. I guess Evlov would be the top guy right now, number 13. He'd probably be the best wrestler at the division. Would you say that? Mobs for Evlov?
Likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least one of the.
Yeah. Or Bryce Mitchell, I should say, number 11. Bryce is great too. So I'm with you, Matt. I think he has a path to the title because he can beat these guys in striking. So it's interesting. And before we start talking about this fight, what about Barboza? Because 35 years old, 2-2 now. He needed this win, I think, to really cement himself as an elite guy. So what do you think's next for him?
Rebook the Ige for him, man.
You want to do it again, eh?
Yeah, why not? I think everybody, like 95% of the people who saw that, thought Edson had that fight in the back and Ige won it. So no disrespect to Ige, but yeah, let's redo that fight, man. Why not? Yeah,
we'll get these comments from Jose quickly. Hey, Jose, what's up, man? He said, this fight for tomorrow. The heavyweight fight got canceled. Lucas, what's his last name? I can't remember his last name. He's supposed to fight.
Brzezinski?
Yeah, it's a tough name to pronounce. He was supposed to fight this guy, Dylan Potter. The fight got canceled. Lucas Brzezinski or something. Yeah, the fight got canceled because of COVID, apparently. It's been rescheduled. So 4 fights for Contender Series. Actually, we'll talk about Contender Series tomorrow if we have time. I mean, we're going to break down the card, 10 fights, but we'll talk about Contender Series. Go ahead.
It's like literally every year the first card has 4 fights, man, for some reason.
Yeah. It sucks. I mean, whatever, 4 or 5 fights. It's going to be a fun show. I love Contender Series.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll talk about it tomorrow. We'll give our thoughts on those fights. Jose's asking, is it crazy to think Evlov has a better chance than Max at beating Giga? I don't think so. I mean, just because of how they match up stylistically, but it's tough to pick against Max against a lot of guys, man. Max is obviously amazing. It's just, as good as Max is, though, I think people do forget that he did lose to Volkanovski twice, and he lost to Poirier, too. So it's not like he's unbeatable. You know what I mean? Max is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Should have won the second fight with Volk, no doubt about it. First fight, he didn't win, though. Poirier destroyed him, too. So as much as I like Max, there are holes in his game. And I do think Giga could give Max problems in that fight if it happened, but Max is fighting Yair. I think if Max wins that fight, he gets a title shot. I mean, right? Would you say, Marcel? He gets a title shot for sure. There's no doubt about it. So
if Max wins, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%. Or Yair. If Yair wins, I mean, they might give it to him too. All right. So yeah, great fight. By the way, I didn't ask you, how was your picks? I went 7-5. So
6-6.
Yeah, it was another tough card, man. A lot of upsets again. I mean, the fights are. You know what? I've been picking fights for over 10 years now. Same with, and I know Marcel's been doing it a long time too. Marcel, I feel like it's never been harder than ever before to pick these fights. Like, it's really hard. Like, guys, like there's fights like we'll talk about in a few minutes here. Massive favorite.
Maybe we should do Bellator picks. We look like geniuses.
We should do Bellator because that's how you artificially inflate your picking percentage. Anyways, let's go to the co-main event. Brian Battle defeats Gilbert Urbina. I really like Battle in this fight. I like this guy, man. He's a good prospect. He's only been fighting as a pro for a few years now. He's only been training MMA for 5 years. Now he's the Ultimate Fighter. I thought he looked good, Marcel. What do you think of this guy? I think he's a pretty good prospect with some good potential. What do you think?
Pooh Bear, yeah. He looked solid after the first 2.5 minutes. He looked good, Urbina tried to get the finish as quick as possible in a short notice fight. He didn't get it, and he gassed, which I pretty much expected that would happen, that he was going to gas, and Battle wanted submission or naked choke. Overall he looked good after that 2.5 minutes. He almost got out. Then Urbina went for a submission, didn't got it. But good for Battle, man, and I think much deserved as well, man. He looked good through the season, last pick, so good for him, man.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Marcel. And the other tough finale, Ricky Turkios defeats Brady Hyster. I mean, this was an amazing fight. Amazing fight. I actually had some friends over for the first time in a while just because of COVID and my fiance's been pregnant, obviously, for like the last 9 months, and finally was able to have friends over and watch the fights, and we love this fight. I mean, this is an amazing fight. I know Dana said they're going to give him a check after. He's like, it's not going to be $50,000. We'll give him something. Why couldn't they have given them $50,000? I mean, they put on such a good fight. Like, this is what you want. This is what you want to see. You want to have guys that are coming here literally fighting to the death, trying to win the fight, trying to win that contract. I love this fight, Marcel. I thought it was an amazing fight. I thought it was one of the best fights of the year.
They got fight of the night, man.
No, it didn't, man. They didn't. No, they didn't, bro. No, he didn't give
four performances on 2 and 1.
No, I watched the press conference, Marcel. Unfortunately,
I'm 100% sure, Adam.
Bro, I'm sorry, man, but it's not true. I mean, Dana White said. I'm going to tell you what Dana White said because I literally watched the press conference today. He said there was no fight of the night, but if there was, it would have been Turkios and High Stand. we're going to kick those kids some money. It's not going to be 50 grand, but they're going to be happy about it. So they didn't win fight of the night. They should have. They should have given up 2 extra bonuses. Yeah.
Why did I saw the graphic with the picture in it that they wanted?
I don't know. I don't know. That's not what happened though.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because I thought it was one of the best fights of the year. I really did, Marcel. And I was actually kind of surprised. I went to bed and woke up, and then I watched the presser or saw the news the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was surprised as you are, man. I know you're like what? Because he said, if there was a fight of the night, why couldn't they have just given an extra bonus? It bothers me, because this is what you want. You want guys who are going to come here and fight to the bitter end, trying to win that contract. Now, as far as the scoring goes, split decision. I thought Brady won round 2, and I gave Ricky barely round 1, and then he obviously won round 3. It was a close fight, but then he dropped it in the 3rd round, and then it was after that, it was all Ricky. But what'd you score? You had Turkios or Hyster?
I had Turkios winning the fight, 29-28.
1-3? 1-3 as well?
Yeah. I think we had the same. We talked about it, right?
Yes, we did, actually. Yeah, I remember now we talked about it. So I think we both have the same score. I'm going to get these comments. Matt said he wants to match battle against a contender series guy. That makes sense. Matt thought that Hyster won the 1st and 2nd. Yeah, it was close. The first round was very close. I did thought Ricky edged it out just with the activity level, I guess you could say. What were you going to say?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can't win a round by just laying on your opponent, man. I mean, if the other guy, how do I say that, does more.
Yeah, he's doing stuff off the bottom. I know. He had a good bottom game, and that was the one thing. It's like he's a very scrappy dude, and I knew that. But like I said, Marcel, I stand by my I guess look on both these guys. I think Brady is the higher ceiling, and I think he's going to be a really good fighter for a long time. He's only 22, guys. He's only 22. Dana also said that he's going to talk to the matchmakers and tell them to give him a contract too. So he deserves it. I mean, it kind of reminded me. Listen, I don't want to say this was as good as like Stephen Bonner or Forrest Griffin, but they did talk about it on the broadcast. It kind of reminded me of that, like a super, super close fight. There's no loser in the fight, and you hope that this kid gets another shot. I'll get your comment in a second. You would say about Kevin Lee. What are you going to say, Marcel? What are you going to say?
They literally deleted that picture with them winning fight of the night, dude, because I see it here.
Oh, really?
They deleted it, man.
Well, I mean, there you go, man. That's just really being, cheap. I don't know what else we can say. That's just, and USA says right here, UFC is cheap. They can afford. Dude, what's an extra $100,000 for 2 guys? And then you show like the world, hey, if you put on an amazing fight, we will reward you. You know what I mean, Marcel? Like, $100,000 for the UFC is not much money, guys. I'm telling you.
Wait, man. I send it now to you via DM, and you can watch it. It's only on the Chinese side. They have left it. They forgot to take it down.
Right.
Because, but they have took it down everywhere else. But you can see it. I just sent you the link right now.
All right, cool.
You can see it's an official. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, I'm going to read it right now. One sec. Let's see what Marcel saw, because I think Marcel was seeing things, guys. Let's take a look here. I don't see it.
You got to scroll a little bit, man. It's like the 10th picture from above.
Oh, yes, I do see it now. Yeah, they didn't, man. They took it away, dude. Then that's complete garbage then. You know what I mean? They were even promoting it. That's complete garbage. So Marcel's right. There was some image on the Chinese UFC website, but again, Dana White didn't give it fight of the night. He did say they were giving an extra something. You weren't wrong. This is like the situation with Patty. You weren't wrong.
This is okay. But you bet your ass that I'm going to find a better quality pic of that, and I'm going to post that one on my Twitter.
You're damn right, and you're damn right you're going to prove me wrong, because you were right and I was right. We were both right, just like the Patty film situation. All right, let's talk about this next fight, guys, because, yes, I finally called an upset in this card. I mean, this was a tough card. Daniel Rodriguez, my boy, plus 130, Marcel against Kevin Lee. I'm all in on this guy. I think he's a phenomenal fighter. I think he's so underrated. Daniel Rodriguez, 6-1 now in the UFC, Marcel. Really should be 7-0. I think all of us thought he beat Dalby last year. He should be 7-0. This guy's phenomenal. What does he have to do to get a top 15 opponent? Like, time to give this guy a top 15 opponent. And Kevin Lee, that's what everyone wants to talk about now. And you guys are asking some questions. Where's Kevin Lee going here? Do you think Kevin Lee has been the same since Robert Follis died? No, he hasn't. And looking at his record, guys, it's not good. It's 2-5 over his last 7. But he lost to Daniel Rodriguez, who's a really good fighter. Stu Bronx, who's amazing. RDA is a former champ. I Quint, who's a solid fighter who has his number, beat him twice. And Tony Ferguson. And the 2 wins he has are Gillespie and Barboza. And you look, the one before that was Chiesa. So he's just a weird fighter, man. It's like he could beat the elite guys at times, and then he loses to guys that he could beat, like an I Quinta, for instance. I'm not sure what to think about Kevin Lee and Dana White's after the card. We'll talk about Sam Alvey in a minute, but He said that they're considering releasing him. I mean, they're on the fence. They're on the fence with him. I think they're going to give him one more fight, guys. I would like to see him fight Mike Perry. I think that's the fight to make. And someone else suggested Brian Barberena to me. And I think that's a good fight too. Someone like that. But I think if he loses one more fight, they'll probably release him. I don't know. I think he should get one more. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure, man. I think Kevin Lee is not a bad fighter at all, And we saw it in the first round, I think.
Yeah.
But then he kind of got cocky and he got caught in the second round. And after that, it was all Daniel Rodriguez. So, I mean, well done by Rodriguez again. I picked Lee, you know that. So you picked Rodriguez, so good pick by you. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm honestly, I hope we see him back because I think Lee is a quality fighter, but just didn't show it so far.
Yeah,
didn't show it a lot lately.
I agree. Daniel Rodriguez, like, I remember when he fought Tim Means on short notice, I was like, there's no way this guy's going to beat Tim Means. And once he beat Tim Means, I was like, this guy's legit. This guy is super legit. And to me, he's a guy that really should be fighting someone top 15. Like, the one thing that stands out to your D-Rod is the volume. And I talked about this last week at the Breakdown Show, guys. He's even after this fight, after 7 UFC fights and a Contender Series fight, he's still averaging over 8 significant strikes per minute. That's incredible. And again, the second highest rate in all of the UFC behind Sean O'Malley. Amazing. So this guy is a really, really good striker. And who do you want to see him fight next? What do you think for Daniel Rodriguez?
Daniel Rodriguez. I thought about it. I would like to see him fight next.
Jeff Neal?
Sean Brady, actually.
Sure.
You know why? Because Kevin Lee was supposed to fight Sean Brady, and a win would get him in the rankings. And I think with defeating Kevin Lee, he deserves that right to fight somebody ranked like Sean Brady. So that's the guy I would love to see.
They have to give him a top 15 opponent. I'm just looking at the rankings. Jeff Neal's number 10. That's maybe a little bit too high, if anything. Ponzinibbio is number 12. I don't think he has a fight lined up. That'd be a good fight. Brady, 13, and Muslim Salikov at 14 would also be a pretty good fight. Although Muslim's kind of an older guy, too, so I think they might try to push him a little bit and give him someone just to see if he's ready for a top-level guy. Because if he's not ready now, he won't be. But yeah, I mean, I love Dan Rodriguez, guys. I think he's great. And I do think they give Kevin Lee another chance. I think they should. D-Rod's a fun find for the UFC. Wish guys like Lee would catch a tune-up fight. Yeah, I mean, he'd missed 18 months. He had ACL surgery. I mean, the guy was out for a while and had a bad injury, guys. And they didn't give him an easy matchup to come back to. Kevin Lee pushed the pace. When guys can keep up with it, he slows down. All his wins come from a lasting opposition. He doesn't have a point fight. That's actually not a bad breakdown at all. I think you're right, Daniel. Yeah, D-Rod versus Muslim. That's a fun fight, Marcel. I wouldn't mind that fight. What do you think, though? Do you like that one?
Sorry, which one?
Muslim Salikov and D-Rod.
Yeah, it would be a fun fight, definitely.
Yeah, two strikers, right? That'd be a fun. Let them bang it out. Yeah, even I know Lee's fighting Khaybulaev. That would have been a good fight too. Anyways, the point is there really aren't any bad matchups. And you look at welterweight. There's a lot of wrestlers at the top, but there's also a lot of strikers in that top 15 too. So a lot of fun fights. All right, Andre Petroski defeats Michael Gilmore. I mean, there's not much to say about this one. We all knew Petroski would win. Gilmore made it a little bit more competitive, I think, than a lot of us thought. He did win the second round, I thought, and then the third round just got smashed with the elbows on the ground. So, any thoughts on this one, Petroski?
No, man, we pretty much expected this one. I think everybody picked Petroski. I know disrespect to Gilmore, by the way. But.
Yeah, I know. I don't think Michael Gilmore gets another fight in the UFC. I'd be pretty surprised if he did. Petroski will obviously get another fight. I mean, maybe they'll just do battle in Petroski. They might just do that.
You know what's so weird, man? People asking me like, why do these guys get a fight in the UFC while they lost in the Ultimate Fighter? It's like this happens all the time, man. It's not something new that guys who lost.
There's so many guys that lost on top that end up getting shot. I mean, even Sam Alvey, he was on the welterweight season years ago that Colton Smith won. Remember that guy, Colton Smith? Neil Magny was on the season too. So guys will get chances after the show. And the UFC, I think, a guy like Michael Gilmore, again, he quit his job. The UFC really respected that, but the guy's not great. 10th round, what's up, man? Giga step up big time. What a savage. The guy looked amazing, man. I mean, I was blown away. All right, now we got to talk about this fight because, I mean, I haven't been more wrong about a fight all year. Gerald Meerschaert defeats Makhmud Meredov via second-round submission. I mean, what can I say? I mean, I think it was the biggest upset of the year because he was plus 500, so massive underdog. I mean, I knew that obviously if the fight could get to the ground, he had the chance to submit him because obviously Gerald's amazing at submissions, 25 career submissions. And, Meredov, he has been submitted. I think that was his 4th time being submitted, guys. So obviously he has a hole in the ground, but I still thought he would be able to keep in the feet. he kind of gassed out a little bit, Marcel. I was kind of surprised. His conditioning wasn't there, and I'm honestly still kind of shocked at how this fight went. What do you think, man? This was a big surprise to me.
Yeah, same, man. I think everybody, also pretty much everybody I knew, picked Muradov here, not because we disrespect Mershad, but I think Muradov was so impressive so far in his UFC career, and definitely in his last 2 fights. So, but Mershad, I think the first round Muradov did well, but Mershad took over, and
It's incredible.
he won, and also a finish, man. I mean, it was a big finish. You knew when Mershad had his arm around his neck, it was done deal. You know?
Oh, yeah. It's crazy. So he has 25 submissions in his career. In the UFC, he has 8 submission wins. That's amazing. Almost all his wins are by submission. You go to the ground with this guy, you're probably going to get choked out. You know, it's crazy because this guy's career has been so nuts, Gerald Meerschaert, because if you look at his career, guys, his second fight of his career, he fought this guy named Jay Ellis, who is literally one of the worst fighters of all time. Did you see that? You know Jay Ellis is, right? The scrub from the regional scene. He just lost his 100th fight. Did you see that? He lost his 100th pro fight. He's a complete scrub. He's one of the worst fighters. I talked about a few months ago, guys. I'm not trying to be mean, but this guy is literally like the worst fight I've ever seen in MMA. He's so bad. His record is, I'm going to pull this guy up right now. He's 15-100. And it's crazy because he actually has a win over Gerald Meerschaert, which is just insane. Like it's so nuts, Marcel. 15-100, guys. He's the worst fighter I've ever seen. He's so bad. He just got submitted again. Look at this. He got submitted. He actually fought twice. This month and got finished twice.
Hey, man, you should look up Reese Street.
He's like 0-20, right? Isn't he like 0-20?
0-45.
That's pretty bad. What's his name? Street?
But Reese Street, yeah. Reece Street.
That? I don't even know. You know how to spell it? R-E like this?
Reece.
I found it. Yeah, C. 0-40.
Okay.
And then there's also they put a warning here, so there's some sketchiness.
His nickname is fun.
A Nightmare on Elm. Oh, it's pretty good. Reese and Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, but he doesn't deserve a guy like this does not deserve a good nickname. What an absolute scrub. Like you think that like his girlfriend or like his mom would say, "Hey, maybe you shouldn't do this anymore." like buddy, what are you doing? 0-40. Anyways, just an aside there, guys. But it's crazy because Meerschaert, the point is, he's been fighting since 2007. 14 years later, he's still winning fights. And I saw him fight in Ontario at the Sport Fighting Series, Marcel, in 2012. He got submitted. And at that point in his career, he was 16-6. And it's like, this guy's not going to do anything in his career. And then somehow, all these years later, he's just killing it now with these submissions in the UFC. So it's pretty insane. Matt says, tip of the cap to Meerschaert, tough way to make a living. Sometimes a bulldog strategy. Yeah, I mean, listen, he took the guy's best shots and fought through it. I was surprised he was able to eat those punches because Marcel, remember what happened against Heinisch and Khaybulaev? Just got brutally knocked out in the first minute. So you thought that this guy's chin was shot, but somehow ate these punches. Jose's asking why didn't Ivanov step up to fight Tom? I'm not sure. Maybe a visa issue. It's possible. Thiago Okamura, I don't know if you saw his thread the other day, was talking about visas and how some guys get them and explaining why certain fighters, and like Brazilian fighters have a hard time getting visas. Ivanov obviously doesn't count for that, but the point is there's some certain countries where the visas are easier to get, and apparently Spivak it was really easy for him to get that visa. So maybe Ivanov, I think he's training in the States, right, Ivanov, isn't he? So it probably didn't have that probably wasn't an issue for him, but they just didn't give him the fight. But there's going to be Spivak and Aspinall. We'll talk about that tomorrow. All right, let's talk about the prelims here. Abdul Razak Al-Hassan defeats Alessio Chirico, first round knockout with a head kick. I mean, unbelievable, Marcel. I'm sitting there and I'm talking to my friends and I'm like, guys, the only way this guy wins is if he wins the first round, and of course that's what he does, Marcel. The first kick of the night. You know what's crazy? I was gonna tweet this out, but so Joaquin Buckley knocked out Impa Kasanganay with a head kick, and then Alessio Chirico knocked out Joaquin Buckley with a head kick, and now Abdul Razak Al-Hassan knocks out Alessio Chirico with a head kick. I mean, he saved his career with his head kick. Marcel won $50,000. What do you think?
Yeah, a great win for Al-Hassan and a very necessary win with 3 losses in a row. Definitely a loss against Jacob Malkoun that nobody expected, to be really honest. And very good win for him. And pretty much woke me up after that fight. What was before that one? So
that was insane. I mean, I honestly wasn't sold on this guy at all anymore, especially at middleweight, and I'm still not, because really, like, we didn't see the fight play out. You know, like it was one kick. Who knows what would have happened if the fight didn't play out? I thought it would go decision with Chirico winning.
Same.
Yeah,
That's why I picked it also as the Kyoko for the
yeah, and I still think that had he survived that first round, that's what would have happened. But he didn't. He didn't survive at all. So brutal. Daniel said he bet on Meerschaert for a finish. Good job, man. Nice job. Let's talk about Wellington. We got to talk about this fight. Wellington Turman and Sam Alvey. Very weird fight. Pretty bad fight. There's a few things to talk about for this one. So first off, I don't agree with the split decision. I thought Wellington won all 3 rounds. And yeah, even with the 2 points, Marcel, he still won the fight 28-27. So 2 judges gave him the fight. One of the judges gave Sam Alvey the 3rd round plus the 2 points. So it was a 10-7 round for Alvey, which, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that at all. I don't think he won the 3rd round. I thought Turman won every round of the fight. And yeah, the eye pokes were gross and stupid, but even with the 2-point deduction, I still thought he won. What did you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, Ben. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sam Alvey's getting another fight, according to Dana White. What do you think about this? He's 0-6-1, guys. Let's pull up his record here. Now, I don't have too much bad things to say about Sam. I mean, he's a good dude, and he's had some good fights, but I just think it's really questionable when Dana White says he's going to cut Kevin Lee, maybe, and then he's like saying how much this guy fights. Like, I don't know.
He went nuts, man. Sam went nuts when they.
He was pissed, but I don't think. Yeah. He hates the judges because, let's be honest, he should have won this fight against Dan Jung. He should have won that fight. And that's the only reason he's still in the UFC right now, I think, because they were like, okay, that guy's really good, and he beat him probably. Span fight, I thought he lost that one, honestly. But this fight he won. He did beat Dan Jung. That was a bad decision by the judges there. But still, Marcel, you look at this record, and I hate to say it, BJ Penn lost 7 straight fights, and that was the record. I mean, at this point, this guy, that's the record for losses in a row. He does have a draw in here, but I think at this point, like, who does he beat in the UFC? Tell me, who does he beat in the UFC middleweight division? Can he beat anyone at this point?
Low tire, probably. Maybe,
like who?
But,
like Michael Gilmore. He beats Michael Gilmore, sure. So maybe they give him Michael Gilmore. Give him a win. Let's look at the division, guys. Let's honestly look through it. Let's look through this division. So he's right here, Sam Alvey. Like, obviously, okay, so Braga Neto, that'd be interesting just because that guy's always injured. Maybe he could win that fight, maybe. He said he wanted to fight Zach Cummings, but I think Zach Cummings would beat him. Trevin Giles, maybe. I mean, Giles is very, very flawed. He would probably beat this guy Hugh Yaozong.
He beat Amadowski.
Yeah. He's fighting Amadowski, and I think he could win that fight too. Abu Azatar, maybe him. I don't know, Marcel. I honestly don't know. I mean, maybe they'll give him a Contender Series guy. Maybe that's the thing they'll do. Give him a guy for Contender Series, because I'm looking at this division, guys, and like it's not getting easy. Like, all right, how this guy Dustin Stoltzfus, maybe him or Jamie Pickett, one of these guys. I don't know. Honestly, don't know.
Yeah.
The point is, guys, like we're struggling to find guys he can beat at this point. I mean, that's not a good sign. So again, I don't want to say anything bad about Sam because he's a decent guy and everything, but I don't think he should be in the roster, guys. I really don't. I don't think. Yeah, you could do that fight too. I don't think he deserves it though, Marcel. Like, there's too many guys out there now that are busting their ass to get to the UFC, and a guy like this that's losing every fight. I don't know why they can keep him around. Quinn, what's up, man? He says hates judges and Mark Aldridge's defense. He outstruck Turman in 2 rounds. I guess by the numbers, but I thought Turman still won the fight. He had the takedowns of control. Turman fought a smart fight, guys. I don't really like the guy, but he fought a smart fight. Sam Alvey, Jake Paul. Pardon?
Turman, dude, always makes me hungry, man. It makes me think about Beef Wellington.
Dude, we're sitting there watching the fight, and my buddies are like, "Why is this guy's nickname not Beef Wellington? Like, he's got to take the nickname. Like, he's nuts not to do it." Anyways, a few more fights to talk about here. Darren Stewart and Justin Jacoby. I mean, I honestly didn't expect Jacoby to smash him like this. I thought it'd be a decision. Justin Jacoby looked amazing. I think he deserves a top 15 opponent. What do you think?
Yeah, man, Jacoby looked good. I really like how he looked. I still think Darren Stewart should go to 185 instead of 205. But I mean, good win for Jacoby. He looked good from start to finish. And he hasn't lost in the UFC since his comeback, right? He got close decisions and that draw against Khaybulaev. So and now a good win, a stoppage win. So yeah, I'd like to see him against the top 15 or maybe somebody just outside the top 15. But yeah, he looked promising on Saturday.
Absolutely. Okay, so a few other fights here. Oh, by the way, do you think that Darren Stewart gets cut, or do you think he gets another fight?
He gets cut, I think. I don't hope for him, but I think he gets cut.
Actually, you could do Darren Stewart and Sam Alvey, maybe at middleweight. Maybe that's the fight to do, maybe. Or even at light heavyweight, if anything. I don't like Darren at light heavyweight. I think that was a really bad move in his career. I don't know why he made that move. It's a bad move. He obviously can't compete with these guys that are way bigger than him. JJ Aldridge finessed Demopoulos. Demopoulos has got one hell of a chin, man. She took some big shots in this fight, kept going, but just completely dominated this fight. JJ Aldridge. She's an underrated fighter. Honestly, she's not that exciting. All her wins are by decision, but she's underrated. Marcel, any thoughts?
Problem with JJ Aldridge is that she doesn't have that. How do you say that?
Killer instinct.
No, not that, but that bright personality that everybody's like, oh yeah, we love personality. Her. Yeah, she's very, very humble and very. How do you say that? She's not very loud. You know what I
would
mean?
say she's kind of boring, if anything. I mean, the personality was. I'm not trying to say she's a bad person, but personality is not. It's not there. But. That's why she's not getting a push. I do think she'll probably get a top 15 opponent now, but I'm not saying she's going to win the title, guys. But she does have a 6-3 record. She's not bad. Yeah. Now let's talk about this fight because this fight. Let's talk Matt's comment first. He says probably too late for Joey to develop a takedown defense to really make a mark, but a breath of fresh air 205. I agree. Fun striker. All right, this fight, Jamal Emmers and Pat Sabatini. I mean, they got a few things to say about this one. I mean, Jamal Emmers looked like he was dominating the fight. Had full mount like twice, completely dominating this guy, and then completely makes one of the lowest fight IQ moves I've ever seen, playing footsies with a submission expert whose best weapon is a heel hook. I'm sitting there, my friends they didn't know who these guys were. They're like, yo, Adam, tell us about these guys. And I'm like, well, Emmers is a good striker and he's always got good wrestling, and then Sabatini's a submission specialist. And they're like, okay, cool. And then watching the fight and they were like, oh, your guy's winning. And then all of a sudden it's like, I was like, no, why is he doing this? And then, and luckily he didn't destroy his knee apparently. He's going to be okay. But Marcel, I think Emmers is going to watch this fight back and just shake his head. I mean, he had this fight. I think he could have won this fight, and he did. There was one real path for Sabatini to win. It was by a heel hook, and that's exactly what happened. Give me your thoughts on this one, man. It was a nasty submission.
Yeah, man, Emmers looked good from the beginning, man. And he had them hurt badly, and then he went with him to the ground, and he went for that toe hold, which was like, why, And maybe he was so convinced that he was going to get it, But you see sometimes fighters making choices. You're like, why? Why are you going with that dude to the ground when you can let him stand up and bang him out? You know what I mean? But it's like, it's weird, But Sabatini, he overcame adversity, as you guys always say, and he won the fight. He finished the fight first round, got 50K in his back. So I mean, good for him. But for Emmers, man, Emmers will be very pissed off on himself probably, because he should have won this fight now in the 10 times, to be really honest, if this goes his way as it went. You know what I mean? So he didn't. So we'll see what's next for him, man.
I agree. Let me get Matt's comment. He says he likes Sabatini. Good wrestling and grappling. Yeah, he can definitely beat a lot of guys. But again, I feel like this was more Emmers having bad fight IQ. Last fight, Kennedy and Martinez. Martinez wins a split decision. Close fight. I watched with 3 people. 2 of us had Martinez winning, and one of my friends had Guido winning the fight. He thought he won the first 2 rounds, which is what Adelaide Bird thought. I'm like, buddy, if you're agreeing with Adelaide Bird, that's not a good thing. So I thought they man won the fight. The first round, or I think it was first round, Guido won, I believe, and then it was second, third. And he landed some nice kicks in this fight. Guido landed some good kicks. But Mana won that fight, and obviously a very emotional win for him. Marcel, I think he'll look a lot better in the next fight. I think he'll look a lot better, guys, once he, has a full training camp and, with a coach that doesn't pass away from COVID halfway through a short notice camp. I think the guy looked pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, man, he won the second and third round. And when I heard, and you saw Mana's face as well, when he was going to read it, they say the first judge, if you hear a judge by name, it's a split decision or whatever.
Yep.
And I was like, let those cunts not going to rub him here from a decision, And thank God 2 judges got it right. Second and third round.
Yep.
Third round was clear for Mana, and the second round was also for Mana, in my opinion. So 29-28. Kennedy did much better than I expected. The thing is also, take in mind that Mana had a lot of issues going into this fight. He was actually supposed to fight a week earlier against Trevin Jones. Got pulled. After that, his longtime coach Saul Solis passed away. And he had a lot of things going on. He also missed weight before this fight. Some people gave him shit about it. I'm like, listen, guys, I'm always also like, you got to make weight. You're professional, Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you can give somebody some slack for something, give it to Mana here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And let's see in the second fight how he shows
sorry,
up.
I forgot to mention he missed weight by 4 pounds. I mean, that's definitely worth mentioning. But I think if you're going to give a guy a pass, this is the guy to give a pass to. Yeah. So
100%.
Me and Marcel hate when guys miss weight, but there's at least a reason this guy missed weight.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for introducing me to Jay Ellis. No problem, man. Go if you watch his fights on YouTube, it's fucking painful, bro. I'm telling you, like, Daniel, it's so painful, right?
Adam has actually behind all those UFC things.
There's a poster of Jay Ellis behind it.
There's a poster of Jay Ellis behind it. Yeah,
that's funny. Jose's asking, do you know what weight class Junior Taffa will compete on Dana White's contender series? That's Justin Taffa's brother from Glory Kickboxing. I don't know. What do you know? Or
I expect heavyweight, to be honest.
Okay, not 205, eh? So heavyweight. Okay.
But maybe 205. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be either. I'm not too sure. Daniel, tell me what you think about Jay Ellis. Okay, so we got 2 more things to talk about today. Anything else on this card before we wrap it up? Anything else?
No, but I want to talk about Rose against Zhang booking later.
Yes. Okay, so we have a few more things to talk about. We're going to talk about Paul and Woodley. Just give me a few more minutes, guys. We're going to talk about that fight. Let's talk about UFC 268. Let's pull up the card. The card's fucking stacked. The card's amazing. But the one fight that stands out like a sore thumb, and again, I had friends over, we're all scratching our head. Why the hell did they make this fight? Marcel, it's just, to me, it's I don't know, man. One sec, guys. I'll pull it up. The card is solid, but there's one fight here, Rose and Weili Zhang too, that, I don't really agree with it. So let's pull the card out here, guys. Alex, what's up, man? How's it going? Pull it up here. Where is it? Here we go. So great fight, obviously, but this one, listen, I understand that it was kind of quick, but I don't even think a rematch goes differently. Like when you have Carlos Esparza out there who won so many fights in a row that gets completely screwed over, like I'm bothered by it, Marcel. I don't agree with it. Give me your thoughts because you're obviously pissed.
I'm super bothered by it, and I'm even more bothered by these Zhang fans who are like, yeah, this is amazing. Shut the fuck up, man. Listen, if this was my favorite fighter losing in the first round against a champion and I got an immediate rematch, I would be pissed. That doesn't make sense. Work your way back, Yeah. And also the UFC, man. You suck, Carla Esparza clearly deserved the title shot, whatever you think about her. There are many people like, yeah, I don't think she won that fight. She officially won that fight, so you can't say anything about it. And she deserved that fight. There's also a story with her and Rose. She defeated Rose for the inaugural strawweight UFC championship. And this would be a perfect rematch. And also for Rose to maybe avenge that loss, her first fight in the UFC back then. So the thing what really bothers me here is that they just want to push Zhang. It's pretty much easy. They want to push Zhang. They want to push the Chinese market, and what they're going to do, if she loses to Rose again, then she's 0-2 and she won't get a title shot for the upcoming years probably if Rose stays the champion, And also, let's be honest, if Yan Xiaonan defeated Carla Esparza the way Carla Esparza defeated Yan Xiaonan, she would have 100% got the title shot. You know what I mean? So it's complete bullshit by the UFC, and they can suck it, man. Fuck them. Sorry to say it.
Marcel's really pissed. I don't blame him, guys. I feel pretty much the same way because what Carla did to Yan was so devastating, right? Like he just beat the shit out of her, and you think that would be enough to get the rematch, although she obviously won the first fight. I think it was so easy. It was actually really easy. They had 2 rematches to make. Number 1 was Rose versus Carla for the title, and the co-main event, or even just on this card, I should say, Joanna and Zhang too, or as a fight night 5 rounds if anything. I think that was a huge miss by the UFC. I don't agree with this. Now I'm wondering, what does Carla do? I'm guessing the only fight she can take is Joanna. So maybe that's the fight they're going to do, the rematch. That's obviously not an easy matchup for Carla. I do feel like she could do a little better than the first time around when she got smoked, just because Joanna is on a decline. But this is brutal for Carla because if she chooses to wait, she's going to have to wait till like next April or May maybe to fight. Like that's a long time. But
the thing is, it's just listen. Whatever you think about Esparza, I'm not even a real huge Esparza fan, but it's just pissing me off that I got the feeling that the UFC wants Esparza to lose. So they don't have to give her a title shot, and that's so bad. You're a sport. You're not. It's not WWE or whatever. They kind of go that way a little bit as of lately. With the more entertainment kind of stuff, but also listen, and they will say Zhang is the number 1 contender. She lost to Rose, and she lost decisively in the first round via knockout.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's the thing. And there are so many other fighters who deserved an immediate rematch. Champions who defended their belt.
Stipe Miocic, Stipe.
Yeah, But they never get it. Why not? Because they don't like them, you know. And if they like you, then you get it. It's just stupid, you know. And I hate the fans who are like, yeah, we like this one more, and we don't like this one. Listen, man, doesn't mean shit what you like, you know. It's about the sport, and it's about the legitimacy of the sport, you know.
For me, you know, I'm okay with immediate rematch if the fight is super close.
Yeah, for sure.
Or controversial or something like that, like Shogun Machida, for instance, or something like that. But this fight was not like that, so I don't agree with it. But I was going to say the rest of the card's stacked, Marcel.
Let me just add to that. Have nothing against Weili Zhang. I think she's an amazing fighter. She does very well. I have much respect for her, but this is just not the fight to make, you know?
Yeah, I agree. She should have had to win one more fight. She didn't even... I don't think she defended her belt, right? Or did she defend it once? I don't think so, right? Or against Joanna. Sorry, Joanna. She did defend it once. Split decision. Sorry, she won against Andrade. So she had one title defense. I don't know. Like that's where Stipe had. How many did Stipe have? A couple, right? Like Anyways, 5, yeah. Well, actually, no. He only had the one after, after beat DC, he beat him twice. Anyways, I guess Chandler got vaccinated because that was the issue for this fight. I mean, I don't know what happened there because New York apparently needed people to vaccinate. I have no idea what they did, but that fight's on. We know about this one, Strickland Rocco. Edgar Vera was just announced. Great fight. Edmund Imavov, that's a fight that was announced. This is new here. Durandi and Aldana. Love this fight, Marcel. Fucking awesome fight. I actually am more excited about these fights down here. I fucking love this fight, guys. Ally Quinta, Bobby Green. Are you kidding me? When I saw that, I was like, holy shit, Bobby Green, Ally Quinta. That fight's amazing. So I love the card. Let's get some comments. Then we're talking about PFL and Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. The impact of driving to China or the hope of revenues dictating business across all companies. That's very true. These instant reactions are my pet peeve. We'll put Zhang in a holding power. Yeah, it's so true. Because if she loses again, she's going to have to wait for someone else to win the belt. Yeah, just like you said. Let's not forget Rose lost to Amens versus Andrade. I was at that fight in Brazil. She got slammed. Got another shot. She did, and I think she won the fight after that.
Listen, man, about that fight, Rose was absolutely destroying Andrade until she got dropped.
I mean, I was at the fight. I think she was winning it. I wouldn't say destroying, but she was winning.
Destroying, dude. She was destroying Andrade. I'm not even going to give you that. She was destroying Andrade at that moment, and I love Andrade. She got completely outclassed by Rose. And I'm not even a Rose fanboy or whatever. Fair
enough. Anyways, we saw the rematch. It was close to with those guys, those girls, I should say. I wouldn't mind seeing a trilogy between those two at one point in their career. I still don't know how Tony didn't tap that heel hook. Tony Ferguson?
Ferguson against Dariush.
Yeah. Every time I see the thing you see, it represents the sport, get hard reminders of business. Yeah, it's an opportunity. Do you think Carl will get the next shot with the UFC maker fight during Rodriguez? Maybe that's the fight, but I think it's going to be Joanna, the rematch with Joanna. You know, because Joanna's got to take a fight. They're going to have to. They might have to consider removing Joanna from the rankings, I think, at this point, because she's not taking fights. Right, Marcel? Like, she hasn't fought in a year and a half. Like,
the problem with Joanna is what some people are having. They are like, I was a champion once, and now I only have to fight championship.
Yeah, I don't agree with people living off their past glory. You know, things change so much in life that you can't look back at a few years ago and be like, yeah, I was the man back, or the woman in her case back then.
She turned down Rodriguez, for example, man.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Big J, what's up? He says James said that Al's team, the Bobby Green fight's not official yet. That's I mean, I guess they're UFC does this sometimes. They want to like push a fight. All right, so we have two things to talk about. So guys, PFL quickly, and then we'll do Jake Paul and Woodley to finish the card. So let's talk about PFL quickly, Marcel. Did you watch the card? Because we got to talk about this bullshit. The card was supposed to start at like 10 p.m. Eastern, guys, and it took an hour for the first fight to get on from the main card. I don't know. You went to bed, right? Tell me what happened with you.
I just did a complete round on the UFC. I'm not going to do it on the PFL. What the fuck, man? I mean, I was like, that this is 4 a.m. at where I live, and I was like, there are 4 fights. Maybe if it's like in 2 hours or 1.5 hours, I might be able to watch it and maybe do only 4 hours of sleep, and then gonna work. And those guys started not even at like 10:50 p.m. It wasn't even started yet. Yeah. I was like, what the hell, and that really pisses me off. Also, when they're gonna go to the decision, why the hell does it take 5 minutes before they read the decision, man? Are we that stupid,
No idea.
And I love PFL. It comes from a guy who loves PFL. I think it's a great format. I really enjoy watching the fights, But come on, guys. I mean, you're already starting at 10 p.m. on a Friday, Normally it's on a Thursday. It's not watchable for us in Europe. And you got, for God's sakes, you got a main event that's 2 Europeans fighting in that. And what you're going to do, you're going to put it up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. That's just complete bullshit, man. I don't know listen, man, if you want to compete with the UFC, you want to compete with Bellator, and that goes for Bellator as well, man. put your cards a little bit earlier. You know, you don't have to put it like on 5 p.m. or something, but start 8 p.m. for my part, but not 10 p.m. You know, and when you have a 10 p.m. start, like start at 10 p.m. You know what I mean? And not because ESPN has to broadcast some college football shit that we can't even watch here. You know, and what do I have to watch? Some weird angle camera filming Sean O'Connell and the other guys from 20, 30 meters for like 50 minutes. Get the fuck out of here, man. I was super pissed, and I'm still getting pissed, man. What's this? Is this a pissed off podcast? I'm sorry, Adam, man.
It's okay. Sorry. No, you're allowed to rant here, man. That's why this is our podcast. You can do whatever you want. You know what I mean, Marcel? And I agree with you completely with what you're saying. The only thing I'll point out is, and you know, my boy Ian Parker, who does the betting for them, he's doing a great job, by the way. He messaged me on Twitter and was like, he's like, because I was being pretty harsh towards people. He's like, just keep in mind, you know, this wasn't our decision. It was ESPN's decision. So let's keep that in mind. ESPN was the one who apparently chose to end this high school football game. So they waited an hour because of some high school football game. That shows to me that PFL just really isn't that high on their priority list, which is not a good thing, because I think it's a great promotion with a really good format. And
it is.
You know, if you want to get fans interested, this is not the way to do it, guys. So it was a massive flop on PFL's part. Now let's just quickly talk about the fight, because we only have 50 minutes left, and I do want to talk about Paul and Woodley. But Khaybulaev and Lofton, what the fuck is with this judge scoring for Brendan Lofton? Are you kidding me? That has got to be one of the worst. I mean, there were some really bad scorecards this weekend, guys. This might have been the worst one. How did he win this fight in that judge's scorecard? Khaybulaev clearly won the fight, Marcel. We both picked him to win, but he clearly won this fight, right?
Yeah, I heard that the judge is on a traineeship at Adelaide Bird's house. So, I don't know, man. I think it was listen, man, love Brandon Lofton. I think he's a great guy. Yeah. But Movlid won this fight. Yeah. It was clear as hell that he won this fight, you know. Yeah. And I'm happy the right guy won here, you know, because we saw sometimes in PFL, gotta be honest, man, the judging in PFL isn't always great. Yeah. We saw some guys proceed that shouldn't be proceeding to whatever stage or getting 3 points. You know, we get best example, Gleison Tebow against Rory McDonald in the regular season. So the thing is, I'm happy Movlid won, or that he got the decision that he deserved. Let me put it that way. I like Brandon Lofton, by the way. I think he's a great talent as well. Yeah.
Chris Wade defeats Bob Jenkins. I did call the upset in this one.
You called that.
Chris Wade is a good fighter, guys. He's very underrated, yes. Marcel. You know, he was 5-2 in the UFC, and they cut him because I don't think Dana White liked him, because I think he wanted a raise, right? Like he wanted a new contract, and they were like, "No, we're not giving you one because you're boring." I don't think this guy's boring. I think he's proven he's not boring. He had a good performance in this fight, and I don't know if he beats Khaybulaev. I think Khaybulaev will be the favorite in that fight, but I think it's going to be a competitive fight, and I think it's 5 rounds, right, for the title. So should be a great fight. And I mean, the guy's solid, Marcel. So I was impressed. The other fight, guys, Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Emiliano Sordi. This was a very close fight. You know, I think Sordi could have edged it out, honestly. The thing was, Carlos Jr. got this takedown in the second round, I think it was, at like the last 10 seconds or something like that. And like a lot of people swayed him in his favor, and that's fine. But I thought it was super close. And then the other fight, Martin Hamlet defeats Cesar Ferreira via first round TKO leg injury.
Weird as shit, yeah.
Weird fight. And I said literally before that, I'm like, man, these guys have been warming up way too long backstage. Like they kept showing him hitting the pads, and he goes, the first guy gets injured. I do think something played into that. I do think that you're peaking for a certain time. Like he was supposed to make the walk at 10 p.m. He didn't make the walk till 11 p.m. Like he spent an extra hour on the pads, maybe moving around. So I do think that played a factor. Anyways, Martin Hamlet obviously got the win here. So I would think Carlos Jr. will be the favorite over Martin Hamlet, but I think Hamlet definitely could win that fight for sure. So that's an interesting fight, Marcel. And Antonio Carlos Jr., Marcel, gets cut from the UFC, and now he might win $1 million in PFL. I mean, it turned out pretty fucking good for this guy. The other fights in the card, guys, quickly, Shaman Moraes got a knockout. Chris Camozzi won. Bobby Moffett won, former UFC fighters also. Prospects, Brandon Jacobs won. Alejandro Flores, who's a good fighter, and Anthony Dizzy also won his fight. So, yeah, it should be interesting. The PFL 10, that is – usually it's in December, Marcel, on December 31st. This year it's on October 27th. So a lot
already took the day off.
There you go. You're going to watch it. All right. Daniel says, I bet Movlid, there's some rounds where you didn't get much damage wrestling. The split wasn't crazy. I think it was crazy. I think it was a fucking terrible, terrible call. I mean, now Marcel got me angry too. Oh my God, Marcel, I'm kidding. Any update on Bozer? Because Rothwell, he's fighting Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I don't know. I hope Bozer gets a top 15 guy, though. I think he deserves it. Have you heard anything or?
Nope, nothing.
All right. Now, let's talk about it. Paul and Woodley, guys. So if you guys, I know some people were asking some questions, and I might have missed them. I apologize. I'll try to go back and find them. But if you guys have any questions about this fight, let's talk about it. So here's my question: did you watch the fight or no? You didn't watch it, right?
Bro, I was thinking about it, and then it was like, how late was it here? I think it was
I
like
understand.
5 a.m.
Yeah,
and still Serrano wasn't even on, and I was like, okay, fuck it.
No, I understand. I mean, it's hard for you because you're in the Netherlands. Like you're 6 hours or 7 hours behind us, right? So
yeah, 6 hours behind.
That's 6 hours. So that's tough. I mean,
in front.
You can't watch everything, Marcel. It's too hard. Like you have to pick and choose. You obviously prioritize UFC. You prioritize PFL, I guess, and sometimes Bellator. Sometimes, but not all the Bellator cards. I don't think you stayed up to watch the Chia Congo and Sergey Karatana fight. But
no. I had to work the day after, so no.
There you go. So, I mean, I did watch the fight. So, full disclosure, I didn't pay for it, but one of the companies I work for paid for it. I was just going to find a stream like the rest of you guys, but I ended up getting the pay-per-view paid for because they wanted me to work it. So I was like, you know what, if I'm going to work the event, I'm going to do a good job and watch it. And I watched all the fights. And I don't watch a lot of boxing, obviously. I watch the big fights like all you guys do, but I don't watch like every boxing card every weekend. I think they did a solid job with this card overall, though. I think it was a pretty good card. Like, it was a fun card, Marcel. They did a good job setting up the undercard because there was one fight in the undercard which was just fucking incredible. I'm sure a lot of you guys saw the fight. It was this guy, Montana Love, picked up an upset win over Ivan Baranchyk. Unbelievable fight. Did you see this fight or no? It was an amazing fight. You would actually love this fight. Baranchyk was in this fight last year. I don't know if you saw this one, but there was like 4 knockdowns or something in one round in the first round of the fight. It was insane. So the guy is he's in some exciting fights. But the one thing I'll say about that fight is, the corner stopped the fight, which I love to see because you never see that in MMA. The guy was getting his ass kicked and the corner waved the fight off. We need to see that more in MMA, guys. We don't need to see guys get brutally knocked out. But anyways, Daniel Dubois won his fight. Tommy Fury beat Anthony Taylor for a Bellator fighter. And Amanda Serrano won her fight as well. She's actually an MMA fighter too, guys. She's a very talented athlete. 32. Now, do you know her, Marcel? Amanda Serrano? I'm sure you're familiar with her, right?
Yeah, I know who she is.
She has 2 wins in MMA. She has a fight in Khaybulaev, and she just fought Icon Fighting Federation. So, and her wins are by submission. I actually think this girl's very interesting. It's crazy. She doesn't have a cell phone, and she's never had a boyfriend, and she's 32 years old. She just trains her ass off. I was talking to my fiance about that. I'm like, what do you think? She's like, well, she's missing out. She is, but she says, my goal is to make as much money as I can right now, and then I guess start her family later on. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully that works out for her. But she had a good fight as well. The card was phenomenal, but I thought it was a good card. But the worst fight in the card was the main event. It was the worst fight in the card. Paul and Woodley. It just wasn't a good fight, and split decision was bogus. This was definitely Jake Paul's fight, Marcel. This is a bad decision, I think. I don't agree with it. Sorry, not a bad decision. He definitely won the fight. The judge who scored for Woodley made a bad decision. I don't see how you can give Woodley 5 rounds in this fight. No way. Paul won the fight. He won 5 rounds at least. You guys can say what you want about him. I know he's not the most popular guy among MMA fans. I get that. But, the guy, for a guy who's only, been in the fight game for 2 years now, I mean, he's got some big names. He's got some scalps on his resume, guys. He's got Askren and now Woodley. You can say what you want about guys like Nate Robinson and stuff, but, Tyron Woodley, it's not like he's a good boxer. He's not. He's not a good boxer at all. But that's still a good name to have, and I think it sets up Paul for a massive fight. Like, I think at this point, I think he could fight anyone, Marcel. Like, I think that a lot of guys are going to want to fight him now. So just because the money's there, he claims they made like $100 million for this fight. It's possible. Everyone, like, you didn't watch the fight. I'm not saying everyone watched. A lot of people watch this fight. The trends obviously on Google are off the charts. The traffic's off the charts. I can tell you guys right now because Chris put it out on Twitter for BJ Penn. Our traffic was off the charts last night, Marcel, for this fight. So, I didn't think it was a good fight, but I did watch it. I'm glad I watched it. It just confirmed what I knew, which is Woodley's not a good boxer. He just has a good overhand right, and he mixes it up with his wrestling in MMA. In boxing, he's very limited. Jake Paul, he's not a good boxer either, but he was better than Tyron Woodley. So I know you didn't watch it. I know you can't say a lot about the fight, but, it wasn't the best fight I've ever seen. But Paul he's an interesting guy, man. He really is, and I don't hate him. You know what I mean? A lot of MMA fans do not like this guy. I don't hate him. I think he's an interesting guy. Let me get these comments here. Jose says, I find Paul's persona really hilarious. He makes people angry, just hilarious. Yes. Blast Dana over fighter pay, talks shit about MMA stars, and fights have energy. I'm with you, man. And I'm going to get your second comment here in a second. Daniel says he was frustrated with Woodley. Dude, every fight Woodley has, Marcel, he just doesn't throw his hands. It's awful to watch. The guy just doesn't let his hands go. And Matt says, I come around the Paul brothers boxing. Let's see this guy make their money. I agree with you, man. You know what I mean? If Woodley he said he made over $1 million for this fight, or a couple million or something. Good for him. I am with Jose on this one. I think this would be a good fight, Jose. It's not going to happen, but I think the Nate Diaz fight would be really interesting. You know, just because Nate's a good boxer. Masvidal's a good boxer too, but I think Nate's a better boxer. I think Nate's an amazing boxer, especially for MMA. And I'd like to see how he does in boxing. I actually think Nate Diaz could beat Jake Paul. Masvidal, I think, could beat him too, but I don't think Masvidal's striking is, it's good. But there's a difference, guys, between boxers and MMA fighters. The only thing is, you're not fighting a real boxer in Jake Paul. You're fighting a kind of an amateur who's turned pro. I don't know, if he fights a guy like Tommy Fury, a lot of people are saying, I'm not sure if that fight goes well for him. That's an actual boxer. You know what I mean? So, also remember UFC. I agree with this with Matt too. I said the same thing. Marcel, I like the spectacle that they have, like the walkouts, all that stuff. I think that's cool. I think UFC needs to have more personality with the fighters. I remember that time Jason Mayhem Miller wanted to come out with a gas mask, and Damien's like, you're not wearing that mask out for your walkout. There was a time where I think Tom Lawler or something used Seth Petrozelli with the leash. Remember that all those years ago?
Yeah, we'll have the dogs off.
You're not doing that anymore. That stuff's awesome. That's what you want to see. How about the guy Ronnie Jason used to wear that mask, the Jason mask, and I think they told him to stop wearing it too. So I don't agree with that stuff. Jose is asking about UAE. Are you watching it? I can't. I got too much going on right now. But I'll definitely check out the highlights on Graka Hitman's Twitter. But yeah, I mean, listen, Marcel, I know you're not the biggest Jake Paul fan, but you got to obviously admit that the guy's a big name and everyone's talking about him. So Tyron Woodley wants the rematch. Do you think they're going to do the rematch, or do you think they're going to find someone else for this guy? What do you think?
If it brings more money in the bank, why wouldn't they?
That's all it's about, man. It's all about money. It's all it's about, guys. And don't get it wrong. A lot of people are saying this is about Tyron Woodley defending MMA's honor. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. This is about Tyron getting the biggest paycheck of his life. This has nothing to do with MMA versus boxing. I don't agree with that. That's a really lazy analysis, in my opinion. I don't agree with that at all. Anyways, and I think there were some questions. I missed them, guys. Let me get them. About Paul and Woodley. Yes, I did, Jose. He was asking about the big field fight. I did. I was like, damn, I can't wait for this one a little bit, when it was happening. And Dave Chappelle was there too, which was awesome. I'm a huge Dave Chappelle fan. Chappelle show. Dude, I used to watch that in high school, man. And seeing him there, my fiance recognized him. She's like, Dave Chappelle's right there. So that's cool, I think the boxing does a good job of that, of really highlighting the celebrities. The UFC used to do that. I mean, they still do it sometimes, but do you remember the old UFCs, Marcel? The old ones, they'd be like, Juliette Lewis is in the crowd, and all these. Yeah, remember that? Yeah. So I missed that. It was cool. They do it now too, but I gotta be honest, I don't even know who these celebrities are sometimes. I'm like, who are these people? They're all TikTok stars and stuff. I'm like, who are these guys? Anyways, we got 2 minutes left here. Any more questions you guys can throw them in here? We got 2 minutes left. But Marcel, anything else you want to say about this fight, or anything else that happened on the weekend?
No, man. It was kind of a busy weekend if it comes to sports, watching sports in general. So yeah, and it's I'm looking forward to next week's or to this week's card. It will be a good one, I guess. Only 10 fights though, so
yeah, that one fight.
Yeah, we'll break that down tomorrow.
Marcel messaged me yesterday. He's like, "Hey, man, you don't have to do your case study on Mandy Bowman anymore." Fight got moved, so I'm glad, because I honestly, I know she's on Bellator, but I don't remember her fights. I got to be honest with you, so I have to go back and watch her. But I got an extra week. Plug yourself. Let's get out of here, man.
Big Marcel 24, Twitter, Instagram, MMADNA.nl, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook.
There you go. Follow me on Twitter, guys, at @MMadamMartin. As you know, our podcast is available at MMAOddsBreaker.com. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on iTunes, Spotify. I want to give a shout out actually to the people that do listen on iTunes and Spotify and stuff. You guys don't get as much interaction with us during the live podcast, but I see you guys listening to it. I see the numbers going up with the subscribers. I appreciate it, guys. Also, SoundCloud is another place. So that's awesome, guys. We love it. We appreciate everyone listening to the show. In addition to MMAOddsBreaker.com, also BJPen.com, MiamiNews.com, Elite Fantasy, Elite Sports Betting, Spectation Sports, and Fantasy Fanatics. Got a busy week, man. I got a lot coming out this week, guys, so keep tuned. But tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern, I'll be here with Mr. Marcel, and we'll be breaking down UFC Vegas 36, Darren Till versus Derek Brunson, Tom Aspinall, Sergey Spivak, all those other fights. So tune in tomorrow, guys, 4 p.m. Eastern. For Marcel, I'm Adam Martin. Have a great day, guys. Peace out. Bye.